Hello, OT Wizards. We are going to create an evaluation with your test student today. We're going to use the demo template because it's very fast and gives you sort of an overview of what evaluations may look like. So to start, we're going to go to the services. We're going to click New Evaluation. You're going to choose one of your test students. All of mine are test students, but you're going to choose a test student that is no more than 90 months old. You'll find that right here. So I'm going to go with Han Solo today, and then you'll click Choose Template. We are going to do the demo use one. You can see that it's for age range 36 to 90 months. Now, just remember when you're choosing these, it was only going to show you the evaluation templates that are appropriate for the age of the child that you have selected. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and click there and start evaluation. Okay, so you can see where it's going to start you first. Now let me just familiarize you with everything here. You have a few things that you can do. You can hide the navigation, which is that. You don't need to do that generally. The main thing that you need to do is if you are actually in an evaluation setup with a child, you will want to use this focus. Which basically takes away the left side of the screen, and it'll also make it so your next button is never it's like sticky, so it'll stay always to your left, so you don't have to scroll up and down to do that. You also you can exit full screen like this. You can leave at any point and come back to it. And you can also show scores. So show scores is for some of the questions that actually have a right or wrong answer. If you click that, it will actually show you the scores. And I can show you that in a minute. For the sake of this video, I'm exiting the full screen because I have a large monitor and it makes it just too large for me. So anyway, what this will do for you typically in an evaluation is it's going to start you through usually gross motor skills. Some of them don't have gross motor skills, and it's going to take you through different domains and subdomains. You can see visual perception has several subdomains. It'll take you all the way to the end. So as you're working with your student, it'll basically guide you through the evaluation. It's going to often give you instructions. You can keep it down like that, and it will, like, each one will show the same way, or you can keep it closed. You have a place on each one that you can basically put in your clinical observations. This really helps to at least do it on some areas, especially if the area that it's testing just doesn't gather enough information and you see other things you want to add. This is perfect because it will really help to synthesize it in the report that's generated. It's not necessary on all of them. I definitely don't suggest that. That would slow down the process, but I think that it's great to put that there. Let's see, what else did I want to tell you? When you see any of the questions that have this like little bubble, the little blue bubble, that means that there is an established but probably very old milestone for this. It may be different types of reputable research that tells you what a child should be able to do. So for instance, the first one that this started us on, and there's a milestone that a child who is 44 months old should be able to hop on one foot for 3 times in a row. And of course, there's more instructions exactly on how you are going to test this and what the parameters are. But in general, this is the milestone. And so when you're entering the information in on this, the system is constantly accepting the data that you're putting in and is measuring and scoring on the back end based on your child's actual age and the milestone, but also what their performance was. So that's how you're going to get those reputable scores that it's going to output. So also, another thing is you see that Han Solo is 51 months old. When you have narratives or you have templates that are like this that do have a lot of the milestones, it's already set up. So it is going to auto start you at the month that is below their current month old. It's usually somewhere between 3 and 6 months. It just depends because we don't want to test above their skill level to start off. So that's why it's starting here. So what I will do is I will follow these instructions, and I will have the child go ahead and demonstrate. Maybe I demonstrate first, whatever, and then you will go ahead and put in what the child did. Okay, so once you do it, you will hit the next button. Now, if you notice down here, it's the current testing strategy. So if you ever wonder what it's doing and thinking, it's trying to find the baseline performance. So this is all set up. Most all of the templates are set up to be smart, to be able to find the baseline performance and the ceiling performance. And basically what that means is that we don't want to over test areas. Like if a child is continually getting zero, no credit for something, we're not going to continue to test them on harder things because, they're just going to get frustrated. So anyhow, that's what it's doing. If you ever wonder why it's testing certain things, some of these have pictures that are necessary. Others are just to keep the interest of the child. You can click to make them full screen if you want to. But again, here are the instructions. So what you will do is you will go ahead and put in what the child did, and then you will go to next. And then, so it's going to keep going further. Now, if you ever wonder what this means, so this doesn't mean that the child necessarily got it right, but if you click all the way to the bottom, you will see what do these icons mean. So the check means that it was answered. Slash is not observed. And then we have ones that are skipped because the basal was met, or skipped because the ceiling was met. And you can see the other little things there. So that's just good to know. So let's do hop on 1 foot 15 times. This would be something that a 60-month-old should be able to do. They shouldn't be able to master this when they're 60 months old. But let's just say that he was not able to do that. Let's just say he got a 0. And so you would just click through, and it's going to say, okay, well, can it do this? Because we're not going to just get a 0 and then be like, okay, we're done with this whole area. It probably can't do anything. So the way that ceiling and basals are set up is they usually have a consecutive number of performance, whether it's good or bad performance, before it moves on to the next section. So as we go through these, now you understand sort of what it's doing. I also want to tell you that if you start an evaluation and you're like, I don't need gross motor skills, we don't test that, just skip and go to the next one. But when you manually skip to the next one, just know what I said about like where they are. You always want to start at if there's a milestone, you want to start a little below their actual age, not at or above. That gives them the best. And then once you get started on it manually, it's going to guide you back to where you need to be and take you through the sections. So since today we're working on you doing your demo, what you should do is, after you watch this, is you'll want to go in and do exactly like I did and put some information here for your test student for each of these, and read through and see what you think. But also think about a student that you've seen in the past that has just kind of visualize that student and sort of answer the way you think that his profile, like how he would have answered. And that way it will make more sense when you see the report, rather than just going through and putting 0 on all. You're not going to get any data if you do that. That's meaningful. So try to, do what I said and put it in as if you were working with that child. But anyway, so you'll see it'll go through different parts. I'm just going to go through a few that I need to explain. So sequencing praxis is something that not all practitioners use. We use it quite a bit because we find that we have kids that are quite low in these areas. But when you do it, you can read the instructions here and you can do your own demonstration, or you can read part of these and say, watch carefully, and then you can say, you're going to see a short video. I want you to watch carefully one time. And then when the video's over, I want you to do what you saw. So anyway, you can say the words that you need to make it understandable for the child, but you can see how that if you play the video, it's a little bit easier because you're just watching the child do it. So you will show the video, and then you will ask the child to demonstrate. So Again, you'll go through, you will answer the questions. Now, if you see on here, it says 0 points. So if I'm working with a preschooler that's not reading, that's okay. But if you see that and you're working with a child that does read, you definitely need to make sure that the scores are gone. But sometimes that's helpful when you're doing a demo your first time to kind of familiarize yourself with it. So again, instructions, if you are on a smaller screen, absolutely you can blow this up, and then whatever the child answers, like if they say number 3, that's what you mark here, and then you go to your next one. So you continue to go through these, the domains that you need. If there's ones like this, just remember that there's help resources as well, that tell you how to score it, because this one you have to score it based on how the child did. All of the resources are in the drive. So for instance, before you start actual evaluation with a child, like say if you're doing preschool, you need to look through and see what you need in here. You don't necessarily need this for the draw person, but it just has this so you can download it and use it if you want to. There's also one in here for like the scissor assessment. I don't think scissor assessment is on this demo one, but it tells you how to score it and then gives you the little printout. Let's see, there's one other part. The popping bubbles is here. That's what that one looks like. That's speed and accuracy. And then we have, oops, that's his older version. We have all of the magic wand, the handwriting assessment. If you want to use that, this is the one for the preschool, and then you'll see the ones down here for the older kids. It also tells you how to score it, the answer key, and then this is just the ones that you can print out. Okay, so we've gone through all of that. What do you do when you have sections that don't have the little bubble? Well, these are really important. For instance, when it's going over the fine motor skills, you definitely want to mark what your observations are, what hand they're using. You want to mark what pencil grasp, what did you commonly see? Again, if you see some pencil grasp, that's something else. You can mark other, and then you can absolutely on your therapist notes add something else. You then will mark, is the pencil grasp that you're observing, is it functional for their age? So you can mark that. Let's see, what else do I want to tell you? So a lot of these things don't have a milestone on it, because there is no milestone for it. It's not a right or wrong answer. It's just clinical observations. And so you will just go ahead and you can mark any of these as appropriate. The occupational profile is really important. As you're working with your child, you don't have to do this section separately or wait till you get to the bottom. Just be asking the child about, like, hey, what kinds of things do you like to do at home? And then you'll have all the information and you can go ahead and write it here. But as you become more familiar with the different templates, you'll know the questions that are going to be asked, and you'll be able to gather this in advance. Friends at school, do you feel happy most of the time? We also have the participation ones on here. So you are basically rating their participation, of like how they participated in those types of areas in a meaningful and developmentally appropriate way. We have executive functioning, and then we always have some of these. If you see the red dots, you really need to answer these. So there's a data collection, what kind of services and support. You'll give your validity rating, and then you have a place that you will put in any other clinical observations, which you may not have that many if you use the other areas, but you should. I think it requires you to at least add in a few things, like maybe a short sentence. When you are adding in anything on clinical observations, or if you are adding anything in on therapist notes, you do not have to make it full sentences. That also goes the same thing if you are adding in on the student profile. You don't have to write it in full sentences. You can say Legos and baby dolls, and it knows exactly how to generate it because you're answering the question. So that is what you will do for this. When you are completed with your evaluation, you will be able to review it. Let me see if I can go to an evaluation that's mostly complete. Okay, I have gone through and sort of completed Han Solo's evaluation. Now you can see there's lots of little legends and icons here. that as you know where to find what those mean. But I've gotten to the validity statement and rating, and I'm going on to next. Remember, I told you about the clinical observations. I will just write something like Hans needed prompting to complete scissor, and actually I will just put needed. Remember, I told you don't even have to worry about the grammar and all that, to complete scissor and drawing activities. And then I will go ahead, it'll say complete evaluation. So now you have a choice. You can save it and exit, which means that it's not completed, it's not finalized. You can go back and review it, or you can hit complete. But once you hit complete, the evaluation cannot be edited. So, but I've already reviewed everything and I'm ready to complete it. So when you get to this point, it's going to ask you, do you want, what kind of report are you looking for? And so if this is, truly an evaluation, you just need to determine, do I want a medical one? Am I billing this to insurance, private pay, or is this for an IEP, which would be educational report? You can also choose to generate it later. So this is just where you go in and you select which one you want to do. And then based on your selection, in about a minute or so, you will be able to review your evaluation and make changes. So there's going to be a video on that as well. But for now, you know how to create your first evaluation, at least the demo one. Go ahead and play with it, and then we will have a new video also to help you decide which evaluation template that you should be using. Goodbye for now.